In the beginning. In the beginning are words that are said by many religious, scientific, philosophers and anyone else that has an opinion about in the beginning. And so do I have an opinion of in the beginning. I will make it as simple as possible so that you have enough facts to understand the truth of in the beginning. For the third shamahym to exist there had to be the exact elements, creation frequency, sustainer of the universe frequency and conditions. Behind the creation of the third shamahym there had to be a supreme one with intelligent design. Who is that supreme one? No one knows whether the supreme one is a he, she, they or whatever. A shamahym that is more than 90 million times 300,000 kilometers across is more than enough evidence that a supreme one exists. The shamahym is the scientific fact of a creator. In the beginning, there were these that scientists call ups and downs. Then there was the Sha, which means fire in the word shamahym. This fire is the creation frequency that created the quarks as the first elements of the shamahym. 2 ups and 1 down is a proton, with 1 up and 2 down is a neutron. The quarks are the smallest vessels for frequencies, energy, spirit or whatever you call a frequency. The proton and neutron forms the nucleus of the atom. The creation frequency combines the proton, neutron and electrons to create the atom as the second smallest vessel for frequencies, energy or spirit. The shamahym, which is the water in shamahym, is the living water frequency or the sustainer of life, and the shamahym frequency, which I call the breath frequency. The quarks, protons, neutrons and atoms are the elements of creation of all seen and unseen matters in the shamahym. There were no words spoken or a big bang to create the shamahym. There was an intelligent design with the exact elements, frequencies and conditions for the shamahym to be created. If you would like to hear some more about the shamahym, subscribe, like and share this video. The Supreme One does not ask to be served or worshipped. Through the shamahym you are given directions and instructions on how to live. Choose wisely. Reading the atom and the shamahym would help you greatly. The Torah of the shamahym is the duality and trilogy of the shamahym. Duality is the conception and trilogy is the birth or creation. At conception there was the seen and unseen. At creation there was the trilogy of the quarks, and the same with the atom and everything else in the shamahym. As it happened in the beginning. There was darkness and there was light which created birth to day, there was water and there was land which created birth the earth. There was water above and water below which created birth the shamahym. The trilogy is found in water, fire, ecosystem and everything else that needs to exist in the shamahym. I will be discussing the trilogy of a human in another video on how to become a mighty one like human. Subscribe, like and share to see that video. I'll explain simple things like how to create birth a relationship. At the conception of a relationship you require 2 things. Firstly, are you worthy to be in a relationship, and secondly, can you meet the expectations of that relationship? If not, the relationship is doomed before it starts. Unworthiness and or to not meet the expectations of a relationship will create birth a relationship of misery, death and destruction. For you to be in oneness with yourself, others and the shamahym you need to live according to the duality and trilogy of the shamahym. The shamahym has and will always give you the duality of life versus death, good versus evil, freedom versus fear, light versus darkness, truth versus falsehood, positive versus negative and such like. You have the freedom to choose whatever you want. Your choice would determine whether you become a mighty one or beast-like human. Subscribe, like and share to determine which type of human you would like to be. You are mainly no different to an atom. Both are conceived by a duality and created by a trilogy. Both are unified matter and frequency. Both are vessels of frequencies. The difference is that you are an equipment to do the duality and trilogy of the shamahym so that you can become one with the shamahym for the benefit of mankind and the shamahym. Your first choice is freedom versus fear. Freedom gives you the exact frequency to unify with your matter to become a mighty one like human with a higher conscious. Fear takes you on the downward spiral to darkness and or death. You might believe that your religion and or philosophy of life gives you the euphoria of a heaven and or eternal life of good, but you may be mistaken. If your religion and or philosophy are false, it takes you on the downward spiral of darkness and or death. Falsehood equals darkness and darkness equals evil. Subscribe, like and share to find out if you're in freedom or fear. When you understand what happened in the beginning and how in the beginning affects you along with the duality and trilogy of the shamahym, you'll find out that there's no beginning or end, no time, space, or matter. Come join me on the narrow and high-frequency path to a higher conscious. Welcome on board and enjoy the flight. I'm not against religion or philosophies, I'm for the truth and against falsehood. Shalom.